few as possible surprises when guys get to the ballpark. That's why he warns them about what's coming up. That is the first pitch from Colby Lewis since April the 9th. And it's a beautiful night for baseball here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Don't let the weather that moved through here scare you off. 70 degrees, the sun is shining, and we're only about 10 minutes behind schedule here. So come on out, enjoy a little Rangers baseball with us as the team tries to make it 8-0 at home this season. And there's the first strike from Colby. Officially an 11-minute delay to the start of this game. And there's a 5-pitch walk to his Torres. Let's take a look at the guys who are behind Colby Lewis. Murphy, Bourbon, and Cruz, the regular outfielders without Josh in the lineup. Beltre and Elvis on the left side. Ian and Mitch over on the right. And Yorvi Torrealba back behind the plate tonight after Mike Napoli did a great job back there against his former team last night. And now it's Howie Kendrick. He takes a strike.
Kendrick's a pretty free swinger, but in that position, after he's just walked his Torres on 5 pitches, Kendrick was taking a pitch right there. Last year, Kendrick only walked 28 times in an entire season. His on-base percentage was only .313. But he had 41 doubles, hit right at .280. He's off to a great start this year.
He really is. .318 coming in. And he hits this one high in the air. Shallow center field. Right center now as Bourbon moves in to make the play.
Well, John, in batting practice today, when the wind was really blowing hard, it was really amazing how the ball was flying out of here toward the Ranger bullpen and toward center field. There were all sorts of balls. During the game tonight, it's not going to be at all like that. The wind is breezy, but the heavy winds that were here came through, the rain came, and now it's a beautiful night for a game. It's breezy, but it's not at all windy like it was in batting. It was almost uncomfortable. It was so windy in batting practice.
Yeah, you'd call this a breeze, not a wind, and it was really blowing earlier today. And here comes Abreu. He was 0 for 3 last night against C.J. Wilson and the rest. First pitch strike to him. Colby Lewis spent the end of the Rangers road trip when they were in New York and the last day in Detroit. Colby was in Bakersfield, California. He fields that one. And they get one out at second base.
Just barely got the one out. Pitchers, although they practice this all the time in spring training, they're not infielders. And there's a difference between fielding a routine ball in spring training and practice than getting one in a game in the regular season. Colby doesn't really get his feet underneath him. He's a little bit off balance. He threw kind of a changeup to Elvis. But, you know, that's a ball that's turnable. Abreu doesn't run quite like he used to. But the big thing is they got one out at second base. Colby made a good pitch and threw it accurately enough to get one out. The fact that they don't get two is not the end of the world, but you definitely want to get that one.
And good hands by Elvis to pick this up after he
had a right in the tip of his glove. That was close.
But they got the lead runner. Abreu is now at first base, and Torrey Hunter's at the plate. And that one gets past Mitch Moreland. Abreu's headed for second.
There's nothing Mitch could do.
No.
Mitch reached for the ball, but Abreu was right in front of him. He could not get his glove far enough to catch the ball.
So it's an error on Colby. First error of the game for the Rangers, who were clean last night.
Well, you get Hunter right here. The error doesn't matter. Last night in the first inning, CJ got Hunter to hit into a double play with men on first and second and 1 out to get out of a jam right off the bat in the first inning. Kobe trying to pitch around that leadoff walk.
Torrey Hunter 1 for his last 18.
Good slider. Got him to hit it right off the end of the bat. Exactly what that pitch is designed to accomplish.
And right to Elvis Andrus, who makes the play. And the side is retired. No score. And here come the Ranger bats. Inning now, and we bring you the Rangers batting order brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Very familiar one. Ian, Elvis, and Michael, followed by Adrian, Nelly, and David Murphy. URV, Torrey Elvis, we mentioned, back behind the plate. And then it's Mitch and Julio. Julio Borbon with a night off last night. He is back in center field and back in the 9 spot against Matt Palmer. Here's the scouting report.
He had 1 start, 4 2/3. He gave up 10 hits in that ball game. A couple of years ago, he had a really nice season. He was 11-2. 7 career appearances against the Rangers. Good record, 1.80 ERA. Spent 7 years in the minor leagues. He paid his dues. Got to the big leagues late in his 20s. He was 11-2 with a 3.93 ERA. He started 13 times. Appeared in 40 games altogether. That was in 2009. Last year he was hurt a little bit. Didn't have the same type season. But one of those guys that persevered through a long minor league career, and now he's reaping the rewards at the big league level, getting a chance to start because Scott Kazmir is on the disabled list.
Yeah, amazingly, Palmer made his first opening day roster just a year ago in 2010 at the age of 31. Although he'd had midseason call-ups prior to that. Now been on 2 opening day rosters as Ian lines this one to the shortstop as Torres. And we show you who is out there playing defense with his Torres. The other fielders out in the outfield, Wells, Borges, and Hunter. Callaspo is Torres, as we mentioned. Howie Kendrick and the rookie Mark Trumbo over there at first base. And another rookie, Hank Conger, is behind the plate, catching Matt Palmer tonight. And here comes Elvis. First pitch strike from Matt Palmer. Elvis with 3 hits yesterday. Matches his season high. And he lays down a bunt. It gets to Palmer, and he makes the play.
A great chance to beat it out if he bunts it right straight at Callaspo at third base, but that one went right back to the mound. And once you direct it straight to the pitcher, your chances of beating it out are not very good. Callaspo's back at third base, so it was a good idea. Just didn't execute the bunt the way he wanted to.
Elvis, of course, did execute that perfect suicide squeeze bunt last night to get the Rangers their run.
Yeah, and that's where a bunt back to the pitcher is not a problem on a suicide squeeze. That same bunt gets the job done on a squeeze play. But not when you're bunting for a base hit. Although on the squeeze bunt last night, he did get a base hit.
Yeah.
Popped it up a little bit, and by the time the pitcher got to it, Elvis had beat it out. Throw went wild. There was also an error on the play. It actually went as a bunt single.
And of course, a run scored as Ian Kinsler was almost to home plate by the time Elvis made contact with the ball. There's the closely cropped Ian. Inside for a ball to Young. And Josh Hamilton over there on the bench. Without the sling again today. Says he doesn't need it except to remind the other guys that he's hurt. Kind of hard to forget that the American League reigning MVP is hurt. So he hasn't been wearing the sling the last couple of days. And now the 2-2 pitch. Count runs full to Michael Young. 7 multi-hit games already this season for Michael.
I can't wait to see Sam Fuld. I've watched him on TV a couple of times. That kid's a great little player for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Leading the league in hitting, one of the best outfielders in the league. Makes a diving play almost every game.
That one's foul.
So they didn't trade. They lost Carl Crawford to free agency. And the kid, Sam Fuld, he's from New Hampshire, it's taking his place. He's playing better than Carl Crawford right now. Not saying they're not going to miss Carl Crawford. He's a great player, but the early returns 10 or 12 games into the year, Sam Fuld looks like a pretty good player too.
He really does. He had that near cycle last week. Actually, hitting game better than a cycle as Michael wraps this one to short. And the side's retired. 1-2-3 go the Rangers. And there's no score after one at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Welcome Jim Knock to the program.
All right, thanks, John. Check out this guy. It's Super Fan in Community Corner tonight. Looking good. Very good. Very nice. Speaking of nice, how about the Boys and Girls Club of Arlington? 50 years they've been around, and I tell you what, it helps out great youth from 6 to 18 years old in development programs. Help out a good cause, the Boys and Girls Club of Arlington. Check out the information on your screen. You guys ready then? Ready for tonight?
Yeah! Let's go!
Let's go! All right, good enough, John.
And he was off camera when he said, "You guys ready?" I thought he was talking to us. I was afraid we had to start screaming like that. Good job, Noxie. Good to see.
That gym at the Arlington Boys Club brings back a lot of memories. I used to coach my son's basketball team when they were like 6, 7, 8 years old in that gym.
No kidding.
Yep. A friend of mine, Mike Dickman, and I used to coach the kids at that age.
Great organization. And you mentioned the boys club. Of course, there used to be boys and girls clubs, and now it's the boys and girls clubs.
Yep.
They do a really good job throughout Arlington. Vernon Wells skies this one.
That ball today in batting practice would have gone into the Ranger bullpen. That's how the ball was carrying the right center field. It'll play normal today. There won't be, as long as the wind stays like this, which is pretty much non-existent. To hit it 407, you got to put a charge in it now to drive it out of here to the Ranger bullpen. Sometimes you get a little help from the wind, but there's no wind tunnel out there today. Whatever you hit and wherever it goes, you've earned it today.
Yeah, and with the rain having left the area, there's still some humidity in the air. Things kind of heavy around here right now, although it's only 72 degrees on the thermometer out there in the office building in left field, left center field. Now it's Cayaspo. Outside for a ball and make it 2-1. For the Angels' third baseman. He's hit safely in 12 of his 15 games this year. And he's been very good on the road with a .400 average.
Kobe's really comfortable throwing his changeup. He's thrown 3 of them already to Cayaspo. We talked about this a lot, how he changed the grip in his changeup in spring training, and he's gotten to the point where I think he's just as comfortable throwing it as any of his other pitches right now.
Walks Cayaspo there.
If anything, he's struggled with his fastball command. He's always had good breaking pitches. He's had good command of that. Hasn't been able to pinpoint his fastball yet.
While he was in Bakersfield, he threw a couple of what they call bullpens, sessions where he goes and turns it up a little bit at an indoor batting cage facility that a fella who went to his same college, Bakersfield Community College, owns. And now he's ahead of the rookie Trumbo. They get 0-2 with the foul. Said he had bullpen sessions on Friday and Saturday of last week. Then he played catch on Sunday. He's ready to pitch today. Torrealba down to Ian, and it's over his head.
Whoa. Get it in quick.
All the way.
Bourbon had to make a diving stop of that ball. Otherwise, it rolls into right center field, and that's a run.
Yep.
That ball went over Ian's glove. Elvis was backing it up, and the throw was so high, it went off the top of Elvis's glove, too. And Bourbon stretched out with a dive to knock it down. Otherwise, they might have stolen a run right there.
Yeah, Elvis's glove redirects the thing away from Julio.
Well, he just barely blocked that ball. As it is now, there's a man on third base and only one out, so they've got a good opportunity to pick up a run right here.
It's a wild pitch, and then a error on the catcher Yorvi Torrealba to account for the 2 bases that Cayaspo took. 1-2 is outside.
That'd be a good spot here to try to get the strikeout. Got a young hitter up there. You got a veteran pitcher with really good breaking pitches. That's what Colby's looking to do right here.
And this one's hit into center field.
That's a nice job of hitting right there by Trumbo, because that was a strikeout pitch. He reached down and hit pretty much the pitch Colby was trying to make. Got the bat on it well enough to hit it into center field. Pitch is down and away, borderline pitch, not even a strike. It's a Vladimir Guerrero hit right there. But the wild pitch and the error set that run up, that's for sure.
RBI single for the rookie Trumbo. And now this one is ripped into right field by another youngster, Hank Conger. Headed towards third base is Trumbo. And now the Angels have him at first and third with one out.
Conger didn't waste any time. He went up there and took a healthy swing at that. Conger's a switch hitter, batting left-handed tonight, looking for a fastball, gets one right off the bat and rips that thing with a powerful swing into right field.
And now it's Borges. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with a single and a double. Both of his hits came off C.J. Wilson. And he's got runners at first and third with one out. There's a strike one to him. Officially, Borges is not a rookie. He played enough games last year to have ended his rookie status. Started 50 of the final 51 for the Angels. That's a strike on the outside part of the plate, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to Borges. Colby Lewis had a great April last year with tons of strikeouts. One's out of play. And so it's no balls and 2 strikes to Borges, the 9th place hitter for the Angels. And this one's high and back out of play as well. Colby working on a 20-pitch inning here. He's at 19. He could use that double play ball. That one's outside for a ball. "16 of Borges's 37 hits last year were extra base hits. He is a speedster." And that is why he's been able to move both Torrey Hunter and then the newly acquired Vernon Wells to the corner of the outfield. The corners of the outfield, as he is the center fielder for Mike Scioscia's team. And he's battling Colby. It's 2-2. Swing and a miss, and he got him. That's what we were talking about.
That's making a pitch right there. That's man on third base, less than 2 outs. Tough to double this kid up because he runs so well, but make a pitch like that and you can get the strikeout. That's pretty much the pitch that Kobe made on Trumbo. Only Trumbo somehow reached out with his long arms and lined it into center field. A beautiful job of hitting. Borges wasn't able to do that. Kobe made a similar pitch and got the strikeout he's trying to get with Trumbo. Oh, if you can keep that first and third and 1 out right where they are and only give up 1 run this inning, you'll take it.
It is the top of the order for the Angels. Mycera Storis back up for the 2nd straight inning. He walked his first time up. And so far, it's been an awfully great start to the season for the guy they call Izzy. 25 hits has him first in the American League. He's first in multi-hit games with 8 of them. 391 average is second to only A-Rod. He's had a lot of doubles already, too. This one's hit in the air toward right center field. Nelson Cruz over to get it and makes the play, and the damage is limited. The Angels get 1. And lead it 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 2nd. April and May Rangers home games, upper level tickets for only $10, or Lexus Club Terrace tickets for $15. Bring any Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper can to Rangers Ballpark, or enter Dr. Pepper as the coupon code on TexasRangers.com. Looks like a few fans have taken our advice and making their way to the ballpark still, as this thing continues to fill up. 30+ thousand in 6 of 7 games so far this year, including last night's when they got over the 30,000 mark. Adrian Beltre at the plate, homer in 2 straight games. The finale in New York and the opener against these Angels yesterday.
And the best ball he hit yesterday might have been the ball he hit to left field that never even got to the warning track. The wind was helping to center and right center, but it was knocking it down to left field yesterday. It may have helped him with one, but it took another away.
Yeah, there's a strike to him. It's 2-2. Pitch from Palmer. Rip. Foul. Just foul down the left field line. take a look at last night's home run. And the wind helped it a little. And we just love that thing. Made a great play on it. Waited under it and caught it in the glove. No scrum for that ball on Greens Hill. And it gave the Rangers a 4-0 lead at that point. Comes off the foot. And he is stacking up some numbers now too. Number 1 in the league in RBIs. Tied with 5 others for first with those 5 home runs and 9 extra base hits. Has him in the top 3. As you see there, even his fouls are just hit extremely hard. He didn't hit his first home run last year until the 3rd of May. He had a great year for the Red Sox, but didn't hit his first long ball until the 3rd of May. And a great play by Palmer. Wow.
That looked like, well, it might have been made by one of the middle infielders, maybe Kendrick, but had a good chance to go up the middle if Palmer didn't catch it behind his back. Or as you follow through and you just stick your glove down just in case. And it went right in the glove.
Yeah. Put his glove down so he didn't fall on his butt and caught the ball. And made the play. Here's Nelly. Another one on that list with 5 home runs. And in that first place tie among American League leadership. And the 1-1. Low for a ball. Nelly has hit safe in 12 straight games against the LA Angels of Anaheim here at Rangers Ballpark. Trying to make it 13. Lifts it high in the air. And foul. Wow. Wow. It looked like it was fair. Tough angle here. John Tumpain says it was foul.
Gary Pettis is not arguing, so it must have been foul. But boy, that's, from our angle, it looked fair.
Really did.
The second ball like that they've had in the last few games. Oh, it's foul.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, no doubt about it. The one Beltre had was a killer in Yankee Stadium. Would have been a 3-run homer. Put the Rangers ahead 5-3. Went foul. A little bit more foul than that one was.
Later in that game, Robinson Cano hit one off the foul pole. And here's the 2-2. Got him swinging. For the second out of the inning.
I think he ruled that he swung.
I think he did too. Yeah, I think the home plate umpire.
Once the umpire makes the call, then the other umpire doesn't come into play. He can ask for help before he makes the call. Once he makes the call, let's take another look whether he swung or whether it was a strike. Might have been a strike. Yeah, I think he called it a strike.
Yep. And here comes Murph. Starting his 7th game of the year for the Rangers in the outfield. Center fielder last night. He's in left tonight. He takes a strike from Palmer. Palmer has a victory against the Rangers in his only start against us. His other 7 appearances against the Rangers have all been in relief. That start came September 30th of last year in Anaheim. And the official score does rule that a strikeout looking, not swinging. So make a backwards K in your scorebook if you're so inclined. And the payoff pitch to Murphy. Swung on and lifted into left field. Circling over to make the play is Vernon Wells, and the side's retired. 1, 2, 3 again go the Rangers. They trail at 1-0 at the end of 2. By AT&T. Colby Lewis back out there for the Rangers. We get set to start the 3rd inning on a beautiful night for baseball here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. We were delayed by 11 minutes at the start of this game, and Colby gets ready to face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Mike Scioscia's lineup. He's seen 11 batters now. 7 of them have seen first pitch strikes. And there's a strike to Kendrick. He flew out to center field his first time up. And his 41 total bases have him first in the American League in that category, and you see he's on the hits list as well. Got 5 home runs already. The Angels' record for homers in the month of April is 9. There's a strike 3 called.
Good location with a fastball in that at bat. Got Kendrick looking at a good fastball right on the outside corner. You see Torrealba's glove. The ball meets the glove right on the outside corner. So good pitching. He worked him in and then got him out away.
Second strikeout of the game for Colby Lewis. And it brings up Bobby Abreu. That's a strike. And a first pitch strike at that.
Abreu's had 7 years where he's knocked in 100 runs or more, or walked 100 times or more. Not necessarily all years the same, but 7 total times. He also has a streak of 12 straight years where he's stolen at least 20 bases. Usually a lot more than that, but 12 years of at least 20. Scored 100 runs 8 times. And as mentioned last night, he's a career on base percentage guy of 40%.
Wow.
He's been a good hitter for a long time.
and a good walker. He's got 1,355 career walks. That has him third among all active players. He got one of those last night. And the 2-2 pitch from Colby. Just outside for a ball. And this one is chopped toward first base. Mitch Moreland over to Colby, and the play is made. And Bobby is out. And it'll bring up Torrey Hunter. Torrey was 1 for 4 last night. Grounded into a double play. That after an 0 for 11 series against the White Sox. He has not found his offensive rhythm yet this year. Batting just .214. Ironically, Hunter does lead the Angels with 10 runs batted in.
The Angels have some excellent starting pitching. It starts with Dan Herron and Jared Weaver. Both of those guys are 4-0. Weaver's the fastest to 4 wins, and Herron's 2 days behind him. April 15th, the fastest any pitcher ever got to 4 wins. That's Weaver, who's pitching tomorrow. The Rangers will miss Dan Herron. They had two pitchers 16 games into the year who are 4-0.
Strike.
That's more like it.
From Colby Lewis, he got 2 of the 3 on strikes. And down go the Angels. 1, 2, 3. The side's retired. Here come the Ranger bats in the bottom of the 3rd. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Rangers game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. Visit TexasRangers.com to order or get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Rangers come up in the bottom of the 3rd against Matt Palmer. He's retired the side in order twice now. And he faces the 7th place hitter, Jorvi Torrealba. Jorvi making his 13th start of the year in game number 17. And he hits this one to right field. Hunter is there to make the play. And there's one away.
Good pitchers duel tomorrow night. Jared Weaver, we talked about, is 4-0, a 1.30 ERA. Matt Harrison's 3-0. His ERA is even better at 1.23. A nice matchup early in the season. Come out and watch that one.
There's Matt Harris
talking to his pitching coach.
And there's Mitch Moreland at the plate. And let's take a look at our Ford leaderboard to show you a little bit more about those starters' ERAs. Herron and Harrison on the leaderboard with another couple of American League West guys, Gonzalez and Weaver. All 4 on the Ford leaderboard, pitchers from the American League West.
Hey, talk about Brett Anderson and Trevor Cahill as the 2 leaders of that young Oakland staff, but Gio Gonzalez is right there with both of them. He's right there. Not much of a difference between those 3 guys.
There's a strike to Mitch.
The other guy pitching pretty well for the A's is Brandon McCarthy. Won a spot in their rotation as the 5th starter.
Yep, good for Brandon. He's a little outside. It's 2 balls and a strike to Mitch Moreland. And he hits this one into the gap in left center field. It's down for a base hit. Mitch rounds first. He's headed towards second. He is sliding and safe at second base is Mitch Moreland with a 1-out double.
Well, one of the things that makes Mitch a good hitter is his ability to hit the ball to all fields. Good example of it, driving the ball in the gap. Borges gets over quickly to cut it off, makes a strong throw. He's got a pretty good arm. Nothing to do to keep Mitch from being safe at second base.
Mitch Moreland is safe at second base, safe and secure. New York life. And here's Julio Barbon's first pitch swinging to the shortstop. He's out, but the runner, Moreland, advances to third. So it's a productive out for Julio. And it brings up the top of the order and Ian Kinsler.
One of those spots where you love to see that 2-out RBI hit right here. Tie the game up. Palmer's pitching pretty well.
Yeah, Mitch's was the first hit off of him in the game. Ian hits it hard and fair into left field.
That's the 2-out. Big hit to drive in a run right there, get the Rangers on the board. Ian waited nicely on that curveball. Had a great swing at it and ripped it to left field. Looked like it was going to be down the line for another extra base hit, but Wells was there to cut it off. Curveball stayed up, a little bit up in the strike zone for Ian to take advantage of. Waited on it nicely, had a good swing at it.
And it brings up Elvis. Who has hits in 3 straight games. Who really broke out with 3 of them yesterday. Outside part of the plate for a strike. RBI single by Ian Kinsler has tied this thing at 1-1. That one's fouled upstairs and out of play. Michael Young waits on deck. As Elvis, who is 1-4 career against Palmer. Pitch out. Ian dives back safely. Conger is a second-generation Korean American. And the Angels catcher has done a pretty good job impressing his manager Mike Scioscia with his work behind the plate. Pretty much an even split of the games between him and Jeff Mathis so far this year. Ian's getting in their head a little bit. That lead at first base.
Boy, that makes you feel like you're right there standing with Ian.
It really does.
I like that shot.
And now he goes. And the ball is chopped in front of the mound. Throw to first, and they get him. But the Rangers get a run. Mitch Moreland with a double, and Ian brings him home, and it's 1-1 after 3.
The first pitch, I tell you what, we saw a number of games. You were a head coach at Iowa State, really turned that program around. You came to North Texas. Can you do it at North Texas?
We can, Noxie. I don't think there's any doubt. And phenomenal people, 36,000 students, a new $80 million stadium. We're going to open on September 10th against University of Houston. And people that are really hungry for something positive to happen.
Now, I tell you, something positive. You got to throw out the first pitch. Not bad, right over the plate. You a big baseball fan?
I love baseball. I'm not a very good player, but just a chance to come here and be a part of a team that was in the World Series, it's pretty neat stuff, pretty special, Noxie.
Dan McCarney, I tell you what, John, you know him from the Big 12 because we've worked with them in the Big 12 on Fox, and not only a great football coach, but a great individual, and that's a winning combination. I think you're going to turn North Texas around.
Sounds good, Noxie. Thanks a lot, man. Great to see you again.
All right, good to see you, John.
Yeah, Noxie, thanks. He is a great man. He's going to do a great job there. That was an excellent hire by North Texas. University of North Texas with that new stadium and a new coach and a new attitude up there in Denton. A couple of quick strikes from Colby to Vernon Wells, but then a ball to make it 1-2. And this one is chopped toward third, barehanded by Beltre. What a play! What a play by Adrian Beltre!
You know, if Beltre never got another hit, he'd still be fun to watch play defense at third base. It didn't look, once the ball got by Kobe, it just looked like another base hit. Wells got an infield hit to second base last night. It looked like he had another one here. He just tops it. Beltre's playing way back. Watch him get something on that throw. He leans back to get the leverage, to get the velocity on the ball as he throws it. And somehow he's almost lying on the ground when he gets that much on the throw, and then threw it accurately. But you watch him make that play and you say, yep, now I see why he wins the Gold Glove.
He's basically on a knee, really almost on his hip as he threw it. Big wave and a miss there from Cayaspo.
Dead run, 230 pounds probably. Laid out, throwing it sidearm, catching the ball barehanded. And that's such a tough play. It's hard to say he made it look easy. But there's a lot of third basemen don't even get a throw off on that play.
It was just right there in no man's land where most times it just does go as an infield hit. Pitcher can't quite get over there. Third baseman's too far back to reach it.
Yeah, and most third basemen, if they were where Beltre was, they would have been too far back to make it.
A little high for a ball to make it 2-2. Colby at 63 pitches now, after a 15-pitch third.
Well, the Red Sox made some off-season moves, and they were obviously great moves to bring in Adrian Gonzalez and Carl Crawford. But if you just take Crawford out of the mix, basically they brought in Adrian Gonzalez to replace Beltre. And so then the question comes up, how much better off are the Red Sox with Youkilis playing third and Gonzalez playing first than they would have been if Youkilis stayed at first and Beltre was playing third? Tough call, because Gonzalez is a great player.
Yeah.
But it's not like they made a quantum leap forward as well as Beltre plays defensively and what he did for them offensively last year. That's a pretty close call.
Just gave a big contract extension to Gonzalez. $154 million.
Yeah, and there's another call. Beltre's making, let's say Beltre makes $80 million and he makes $150 million. Not quite twice as much, but are you better off with Gonzalez at that contract or Beltre with his? Gonzalez might, I think he's a year or two younger maybe, or maybe even more than that.
That's Trumbo again. Rookie who did a nice piece of hitting to drive in the Angels' only run. That RBI single in the second inning.
Kobe, if you see one thing that he really hasn't had command of consistently, it's his fastball. There's some times where he's made some good pitches with his fastball, but he's not in this game able to spot it like he likes to, where he wants to. Got ahead of Cayaspo and then ended up walking him. Got to come back from a 3-0 count right here.
Trumbo hits this one high in the air, left field, and gone. A home run. A 2-run shot for Trumbo, his third career home run. And the Angels lead it 3-1.
Yeah, the kid hit 36 home runs in AAA last year, so you know you can't just take for granted that he's not going to swing 3-0. You got a fastball to hit, and that's, you get behind 3-0, and you say, I don't want to walk him, so you throw him a fastball to get back into the count. Now, unfortunately, he was swinging and got a hold of a pretty good pitch for him to hit. That's the problem with getting behind in the count at the big league level to a guy that's got power.
Brings up the 8th place hitter, Conger. And it's 1-1 to him. And he hits it towards center field. Julio Bourbon going back and makes the play. It wasn't super close there, but again, a game of inches or maybe feet in this case. That one's just a few feet fair.
Caspo has walked with 1 out twice and scored both times. Gotten Wells to lead off the inning in the 2nd and the 4th, and then walked Caspo, who scored both times.
And now here's Borges. And he hits it towards center field. Coming on is Julio, but he's not going to get there. It's down in front of him. And it's a 2-out single for Borges. And Mike Maddox will come out to talk to his pitcher, Colby Lewis. Colby, who was the first pitcher ever to have taken paternity leave, although in some ways he didn't really take it. The team did. And we invite you to check out the #1 free sports app on iTunes, the all-new Fox Sports app with live scoring, video, and all the latest on your Rangers. It's free, and it's on iTunes right now. The 3-day paternity leave allowed the Rangers to recall Michael Kirkman at the time, and the team was on the road in New York. Speedy Borges is checked back to first. Way back in spring training, Colby and his wife were planning when there would be a break in the schedule to have the baby and a break in his turn in the rotation. And the Rangers used that paternity leave to help fill his roster spot rather than leave it open for a few days. They were going to let him go under any circumstances. The throw down to shortstop. Out! They got Borges. Second runner gunned down this year by Yorvit Torrealba. And the side's retired. They get a couple, though, on the home run and lead it 3-1. Usually go to baseball games, but when he does, he comes to Rangers ballpark in Arlington and wears a Rangers cap, no less. Oh, Michael's hit in the shoulder. And it's time for our AT&T trivia question. Here it is. Tonight we're wondering, what is the Rangers record for the most pitches thrown in a game by a single pitcher? Most pitches in a game by a single pitcher. We'll have the answer for you in the next half inning. And with Michael Young at first base, here's Adrian Beltre. Strike on the outside part of the plate. Appeal to first. He did not go around. And
there's Adrian asking for help. He got the call, too.
And we check in with Emily Jones.
Well, guys, you've already seen Adrian Beltre's dazzling defense on display, and last night he showed that knack for being able to hit home runs on one knee. He says he knows it's not the most conventional approach, but whatever gets the job done.
I've always done that to the minor league, but currently last couple of years is getting more into the group to be doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't know why I do it, but you know, it just happens, and sometimes it's most of the time it's on the breaking ball.
And guys, I'm dubbing it the marriage proposal home run. Since he's down on one knee, I think maybe we should go with that.
I like it.
That's good, Em. We appreciate it very much. He skies out to center field, and Borges that time. And it brings up Nelly. Officially, he struck out looking last time in the second inning. Palmer starts him off with a 91-mile-an-hour ball. And Nelly hits this one right up the middle, off the mound, and into center field.
That's one you're lucky your body doesn't come in contact with. Don't usually get the velocity. Sometimes you get the velocity on the ball going back on the radar gun. It'll catch it coming in and then going back. But if you caught the velocity of this one, it's probably about 105.
Wow. Tried to get his glove back on that one, too, Palmer did.
Yeah, he made a play like that earlier in the game. If he got his glove on that one, that ball would have knocked his glove right off his hand.
And now it's David Murphy.
Time for the call right here, John.
Oh, I like it.
I'm being strategic.
Couple of runners on.
Call it when you need it.
Murph's hit safely in all 4 home games.
See if Palmer got himself in trouble with that leadoff hit by pitch. He's in trouble, but see if it costs him.
Pitching carefully to Murphy, and as just about everybody else has tried to do this year, he's pitching him away. Now there will be a brief conference at the mound with Palmer, who breezed through the first 7 Ranger hitters, and then the 8th place man, Mitch Moreland, got a double and scored a run back in the 3rd. That's the only Ranger run of the game. Angels got 1 in the 2nd and then 2 on the home run in the 4th. And now the Rangers try to retake the lead. Rangers offense has been prolific here at home. The home average is at .301, while opponents are hitting just .219 here. And now it's 3-0 to David Murphy. Michael Young's at second base. Nelly Cruz at first base. And Mike Scioscia's a little worried. And he walked him. A 4-pitch walk to David Murphy. Loads the bases full of Rangers.
It would have been interesting to see if the Rangers returned the favor. You couldn't tell whether David might have been swinging at a 3-0 pitch right there. It's a great time to swing. Angels did it. Got a fastball that hit a home run. I think the way David approached that pitch, he was ready to swing at it. If that pitch was in the strike zone, middle of the plate to his liking, I think he was ready to swing at it, but it was outside again. All 4 pitches were up and away. That's set up for Jorvik to drop one in to tie the game.
10 pitches so far in the inning by Palmer. Only 3 have been strikes. And there's the 4th. The first pitch strike to Jorvik. Torrealba flew out to Borges to lead off the 3rd inning. Waves at that one.
Well, based on Torrealba's 44 at-bats so far this season, it's unlikely that he'll do 2 things, walk or strike out. He's only walked once. He's only struck out twice with 44 at-bats, but got his work cut out for him right here. No balls and 2 strikes.
And the base is full of Rangers. And he steps out waiting on Palmer. And now another conference with Conger and Palmer, and the Rangers faithful a little frustrated by the communication issues these two seem to be having. And now Jorvik steps back in. And the 0-2 pitch. High for a ball. That makes it 1-2. Mitch Moreland is on deck. Strike 3 called.
Again, Jorvik has only walked once. He's only struck out twice, so he's not a guy that's going to take a lot of pitches. He obviously thought that one was off the strike zone, out of the strike zone.
Looked like it was
off the plate. From here, it looks like it is. But came back and found the outside corner. That was a pitch, a borderline pitch. That went the Angels' way, but based on our pitch tracker, that was a strike.
Second strike out of the game for Palmer.
One of those balls that has the movement that brings it back to the plate. 3/4 of the way to the plate, it looked like a ball, and then it kind of tailed back in just enough to catch the outside corner. Pretty nice pitch right there. Mitch had the big hit last night. Bases loaded, drive in 2 runs.
I'm going to make the call here.
All right.
Mitch hit his first home run of the year last night into the Rangers bullpen. And he swings at that one on appeal to make it 1-1.
Good call. Never looks like it to the naked eye, especially if you're rooting for the guy at the plate. But many times when you see it on the replay, you go, oh, went farther than I thought he did. It's tough for the eye to see exactly where the bat stops. Third base umpires, first base umpires do a great job. They're not wrong that much on that particular call.
Way high for a ball. And we show you what Mitch did last night and why I've made the call tonight. Got this one up, maybe a little wind aid. It went about 410 feet and gave Mitch his first home run.
There'll be no wind aid tonight. There's no wind whatsoever.
Nope, flags are pretty still, and this one is hit back toward short, and they make the play. So the Rangers leave them loaded, and it's 3-1 at the end of 4. by a single pitcher. Should have known if it's a pitching record. Nolan Ryan holds it. 166 of them. There's Nolan and Ruth down there in the front row. 166 on September 12th, 1989. And here are the guys who have thrown more than 150 in a game. And Nolan went 166, followed by, in his next start, 150. Charlie Huff did it 3 times, 163, 161, 151. And then a couple of guys who you wouldn't have thought were in an era where they threw that many. Witt and Rogers on the list. Nolan with 166.
Nolan threw 150 and 166 pitches in back-to-back starts when he was about 40 years old. You can imagine how many pitches he was throwing when he was 26, 27, and 28 with the Angels. There were probably plenty of games where he threw 180, 190 pitches. Because later on in his career, Nolan actually had better control than he did early in his career.
I just can't imagine anybody throwing that many pitches. I mean, now you have guys that takes them 3 starts to throw that many pitches.
Yeah, you'd be accused of child abuse if you let your young pitchers throw 150 pitches nowadays.
So true.
But back, way back when, they didn't even know what a pitch count was.
Colby working against the first place hitter, Istúriz. He's at 2-2. As that other voice you heard was Mark McLemore from Rangers Live, joining us here in the booth. And Istúriz hits this one toward right field and gone. Another home run for the Angels. And it's 4-1 LA. Number 2 on the year for Istúriz.
Kobe's on a 3-2 pitch, throwing a fastball, and catches the middle of the plate. Istúriz not known for his home run power, but in that particular case, he got a good fastball to hit. Got it up in the air to right field.
Went 365 feet. And there's Mark McLemore. You heard his dulcet tones moments ago. There he is, hanging out with us again. He'll be on the Rangers Live set with Dana Larson a little later on tonight. He was there for the pregame show as well. And this one's high in the air. Julio Bourbon has a beat on it and makes the play.
Mike Scioscia is going to have an interesting dilemma when Eric Ibar comes back. Their Angels' regular shortstop, because Istúriz is playing extremely well.
Yeah, he really is. He's hitting almost 400 on the year.
When I'm sure if you're an Angel and you watch those two, you can probably evaluate them a little better than we can, although we see them quite a bit. But I'm not sure what the difference is between the two of them. They're both, they're both similar type players. Ibar is the regular player, but watching Istúriz play, he looks pretty much like the same player Ibar is.
He does. He's really looking like he's coming into his own right now. I think Ibar's probably a little better defensively. But that's a nice problem to have.
Istúriz is in one of those streaks on the road this year, or actually on this trip in Chicago and in Texas. He's hitting over 600. And he has hits in 13 of his 15 games so far this year. This one's hit towards Mitch. He'll take it himself. And there are 2 away. You saw Mason Tobin, that is, warming in the Rangers bullpen. There he is. Colby's at 89 pitches on the night.
Mason get a chance to pitch against his former organization. He was drafted in the Rule 5 draft out of the Angels organization, but he hadn't pitched in 2 years, and when he did pitch, he was in A ball. So he's probably played with some of these guys, but never been in a big league camp.
Nelly Cruz makes that catch, and the side's retired after the leadoff home run. They lead at 4-1. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Steel. For dependable trimmers and lightweight blowers, visit steeldealers.com. And by Newegg.com. Join 14 million geeks already saving on electronics and more at Newegg.com. Here comes Julio Bourbon. It's John Radigan and Tom Grieve in the booth with Mark McLemore, Emily Jones, and Jim Knox hanging out with us tonight, too. And the Rangers on a short end of a 4-1 score to the Angels. Swing and a miss by Bourbon. Palmer's ahead of him. A ball and 2 strikes. Top of the order due up for the Rangers. It'll be Kinsler followed by Andrus after Bourbon. And Julio slaps that one foul and out of play. This one's hit at the middle, but there to make the play is Sturis.
Thought that little bobble might cost him there. Julio almost beat it out, but Sturis recovered from the little bobble with quick hands and a strong arm. Still made the play.
Julio got out of the box pretty good too. I thought right here that little bobble there was going to make up that extra time, and I thought he beat it out, but Sturis made a nice play.
Palmer waved his glove at that one too. He figures he caught the one behind his back. He's going to try to catch everything back there now.
1 for 3.
Yeah,
behind your back is pretty good.
That's still pretty good odds, isn't it?
You know you can't. You're probably not going to make the play, so it doesn't hurt to throw your glove back there just in case.
Ian grounds it to third. Cayaspo up with it. And there are 2 away, and it's time for our Brown Hand Center Great Hands play of the game. And we'll show you the 1 for 3, the one where Matt Palmer did find Adrian Beltre's ball behind the back, and then an easy throw to first. And it's our Brown Hand Center Great hands, play of the game. Now Palmer works against Elvis. Starts him off with a strike on the outside part of the plate. Palmer's been good tonight. 72 pitches. .44 of them for strikes. And right back to him. And the sides retired in order. 1, 2, 3, go the Rangers. Mark McLemore, thanks very much. We will see you on Rangers Live right after the game with Dana Larson. 4-1 Angels. This one in the second inning when Trumbo had the RBI single. That brought home Tyaspo, and then Ian Kinsler returned the favor, an RBI single of his own. In the fourth inning, it was Trumbo hitting the long ball. He found the seats in left field, just inside the foul pole, and then Izturis adds a solo shot to lead off the fifth inning. And it leads us to our Corona line score that shows the LA Angels have a 4-1 lead. 4 runs on 5 hits for the Angels. The Rangers with just 1 run on their 3 hits off Matt Palmer. And there is a new Texas Rangers pitcher. It's our Verizon Wireless call to the bullpen, and it's Mason Tobin. 4th game of the year for him. You see the opponents hitting only 200 off of him. Mason Tobin's done a pretty good job in his previous 3 appearances. All 4 of the runs that Colby allowed were earned on 5 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 3. And he threw 91 pitches.
I think Ron Washington and the Rangers are hoping if they can get Mason enough work early in the season that he'll start to gain some confidence. And really what they're looking for is just consistently throw strikes. He's got a pretty good sinker, should be able to get a lot of ground balls. One thing he wants to do is stay away from the walks. He's walked 4 batters in 5 innings. There's a break.
Yep.
3-0 pitch.
Grounded to Ian. Vernon Wells is out, and we say hi to Jim Knox.
All right, thanks, John. Listen up, Ranger fans. I found Marianne from Coca-Cola, and she wanted you to tell you something about Ranger Fantasy Days sweepstakes. This is big-time stuff here, huh?
This is big-time stuff. We're kicking off a sweepstakes with the Rangers. It's very exciting. You can register only at our reimagined recycling centers. We've got 1 in Arlington, 1 in Plano, and 1 opening tomorrow in Garland. And by recycling, you can enter to win the sweepstakes.
Well, like, what can you win?
It's really cool. You win tickets to the game on July 26th, meet and greet with some players, and more importantly, get to throw out the first pitch. This is an experiential kind of a deal here. This is really big stuff.
Big stuff. And you got until June, right?
Recycle. That's how you do it.
Till June, right?
Yep. Reimagine.
There we go. Okay, look for that, Marion. Nice meeting you.
All right,
appreciate the time. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Noxie. And we encourage people to recycle, too. Especially if you can get a once-in-a-lifetime experience like that at a Rangers game. Mason finds the outside part of the plate there to make it 2-1 to Albert Callaspo. He scored a couple of runs already, Callaspo has. Both achieved after he walked. He fouls that one off to make it 2-2. The pitch from Tobin fouled off. The process you were talking about is just ongoing for Ron Washington and Mike Maddox, trying to get these young pitchers their confidence. We had a long talk with Wash today about the 8th inning and whether or not he was trying to groom Pedro Strop for that role. Wash would certainly not commit to that. But he did say he's trying to get these guys as many opportunities to get as much confidence as they can so that he doesn't have to rely on the 40-year-old guys, 40-plus-year-old guys, Arthur Rhodes and Darren Oliver.
Well, I think Strop could develop into that kind of guy. He certainly has the stuff to do it. Mid-90s fastball, a slider, and an improving split finger that he uses for a changeup. So he's a candidate for that. I don't think Wash wants to come out and say that right now. But I think in the back of his mind, he's hoping that he develops into that kind of a guy. That's up to Strop. He's going to get the opportunities to go out there and pitch, and then whether or not he can develop to be the kind of guy that Wash has the confidence late in the game. As the season goes on, we'll find out. But he's one of the candidates.
Bloop single by Callaspo has him on base for the 3rd time. Yeah, Wash says right now in a critical 8th inning situation, his first choice would be Darren Oliver, and then either Arthur Rhodes or Darren O'Day after that. But that doesn't mean that someone can't emerge as the 8th inning guy.
What Wash is saying right now, he's going to go with the experienced guys, the guys that have been there before, guys that may be later on in their careers, talking about Oliver and Rhodes, but still guys who have the confidence to be able to say, I've been there and I've done that before. And then it's up for the young guys to throw well enough to earn the opportunities to do that later on in the season.
And there's a strike from Mason Tobin, one of the other young guys.
And for Mason, it's not a situation where he's trying to develop into an 8th inning guy. He's trying to pitch well enough to where he can be a productive pitcher for the Rangers all season long so that they can keep him at the major league level and not have to offer him back to the Angels.
That one's outside to make it 1-2.
One of the stipulations with the Rule 5 draft pick is he has to stay in the big leagues. After the first year, if he's not quite ready to pitch in the big leagues, then you can option him out to the minor leagues if you want. But it's getting through that first year that's the tricky part for a young player without big league experience. Most of the Rule 5 draft picks go back to their original team. It only costs $50,000 to draft one of them, and so at the very least you get to look at him throughout spring training, and if you don't like him, but if he can't make your team, he goes back to his original team and they have to pay you $25,000 to get him back. So in essence, it's a $25,000 look in spring training, and at today's prices, that's a bargain.
That one is into the gap in right center field. It's off the wall. Callaspo now coming in to score his 3rd run of the game. And it's been a pretty good night at the plate for Mark Trumbo. Single, a home run, and now the double from Trumbo.
He's got some pitches up in the strike zone. There's another good pitch out over the plate to drive. And the last time up, when he hit the home run, he hit a 3-0 fastball that was up. He's had at least one RBI in every at bat.
And now 4 on the night. 4 of the 5 Angels runs. And it's Conger again. He had a single his first time up and flew out to Julio Bourbon last trip. 5-1 Angels now. Top 2 teams in the American League West squaring off here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Rangers got the best of them last night. Find themselves in a hole tonight. And Conger fouls that one back to the screen. Back in 2006, he was the California Gatorade Player of the Year as a high schooler.
Wow. Must have been inside. Wasn't low.
But it's 2-1.
Looks like that one comes back.
Yeah.
Borderline pitch. That's called a ball frequently. You can't really fault the umpire on that one. That one's called a strike occasionally, but definitely not all the time.
Conger hit his first career home run in his first at bat of 2011. He's got 2 on the year so far.
And Vernon Wells has made an out to lead off the 2nd, 4th, and 6th innings. Callaspo's walked twice and singled after that, and Trumbo's driven him in every time. So Callaspo's 1 for 1, been on base 3 times. Trumbo's 3 for 3 and driven in 4 runs. The 6th and 7th spots in the lineup pretty much has been the offense.
Yeah, and right now the 4 and 5 hitters just not going very well for Mike Scioscia's team, Hunter and Wells. And that's probably a credit to the rest of the guys, and might strike fear in the hearts of others that have to face the Angels when those 2 guys get hot, which you know they will. Wells and Hunter are experienced veterans. And there's a walk. So they're at first and second with 1 out now. A run already in the inning. And it's Peter Borges. And it's Mike Maddox calling Kevin Harmon out.
Yeah, something must be wrong with Tobin. They're calling the umpire out to make sure that this doesn't count as an official visit. The umpire will go out and listen to the conversation, and if it's a consultation about a possible injury, it doesn't count as a visit to the mound.
And Wash is out there, and he takes the ball from Mason Tobin. His night is done. He leaves the field with Kevin Harmon, Rangers assistant athletic trainer. And we'll have a pitching change at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. There he is, Michael Kirkman, coming out of the bullpen. And we will tell you about Michael and his season debut at the major league level when we come back on Fox. Rangers host the Blue Jays, and all fans will receive an Adrian Beltre t-shirt, compliments of Sweet Baby Rays. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Here's Adrian chatting with the other infielders just behind pitcher's mound, where Michael Kirkman is warming up.
As most fans know, the pitcher coming in to relieve an injured pitcher gets as many warm-up tosses as he wants. The umpire has no stipulation on how many you get. You throw until you're ready. I always felt, I was never a pitcher, but I always felt the pitcher coming in this situation probably feels the pressure to get ready a little bit quicker than he normally would, just because he knows 25,000 fans are waiting for him. Both teams are waiting for him. And so it's important for him to work quickly, but make sure you take all the pitches you need so that when the game starts, you're ready to go.
The old work quickly, but don't rush.
Right.
That's what Michael Kirkman is trying to do right now, getting ready for his first appearance this year. He was the PCL, Pacific Coast League, Pitcher of the Year last year. That in spite of the fact that he spent 6 weeks with the Rangers down the stretch and was a valuable member of the bullpen. In 14 appearances last year, he had just a 1.65 ERA at the big league level. And Michael had a good spring too. He was certainly one of the last decisions among the pitchers that they made. Hence his early call back up. And he comes in with runners at first and second and 1 out here. Top of the 6th inning, and the Angels leading at 5-1. And the pitch to Borges. He's a little outside for a ball. And there for a strike on the outside part of the plate. That evens things up at 1-1. Kirkman on in relief of Mason Tobin, who had relieved Colby Lewis. Try to get you an injury update, or a condition update at least, on Mason Tobin. Inside from the lefty Kirkman. Borges had a single in the 4th inning. He struck out swinging in the 2nd. And he fouls this one off. He was one of the 3 strikeout victims of Colby Lewis tonight, who went 5 innings of work in his first start since April the 9th. And now the 2-2. Just outside for a ball. And it runs the count full. It's 3-2 to the 9th place man, Peter Borges. He was 2 for 4 yesterday. He's 1 for 2 today. The runners go, and this one slapped into left field. Rounding third and heading home is Trumbo, and it gets past David Murphy.
He can run. He's going all the way. Won't even be a throw.
3 runs are in. There's the throw to Kirkman, backing up behind the plate.
There's going to be some damage done anyway on that ball. 1 run was going to score. Would have ended up 1st and 3rd with only 1 out. But you really got a chance to watch Borges run on that ball. Once it got by Murphy, it was all over. The runners are running on the play. The run's going to score easily. And when it got by him, you see the hop that it took, and David just didn't make contact with his glove. With Borges' speed, he was gone.
It's a single and a 3-base error. E7.
There aren't a lot of guys in the league that can get from home to home much quicker than Borges does right here.
He is flying. And he didn't even need to slide.
He slid just because he didn't know where the ball was, but he didn't have to.
Popped up, foul, and just off the top of the Rangers dugout. So it's 8-1 Angels now. As they try to move back into a first-place tie with the Rangers atop the American League West. The two teams started the series there, and then the Rangers won last night's game 7-1.
Yeah, the reality of the play for David was he wasn't going to have a play anyway, anywhere. The runner at second was running to third. He was going to score easily. And David actually played the ball like he might have a play somewhere. It really was not going to be a play anyway.
His Torres hit a home run his last time up. That was the last inning. He led off the 5th with a home run, and this one gets behind Torrey Alba and bounces all the way back out to Kirkman off the backstop. And another foul off the bat of his Torres. Longest tenured LA Angel of Anaheim. And he takes a walk. Tough inning for the Rangers bullpen, and here comes Mike Maddox again. He'll chat with Michael Kirkman.
Yeah, it's too bad because it started out okay for Mason. Mason went to 3-0 on Vernon Wells, and Vernon swinging at the 3-0 pitch, grounded out to second. He got ahead of Callaspo, threw him a lot of pitches. Callaspo fouled him off and then looped a little single into left field. And since then, it's been double walk, single walk.
And now it's Howie Kendrick.
Michael's come on and pitched to 2 hitters. He's given up the single that turned into a 3-base error on Borges, and also walked his Torres, and he's thrown 13 pitches to do it.
The word we're getting is that Mason Tobin had a pain in the right elbow. That was the origin of him leaving the game after facing 4 batters.
Yeah, and obviously the scary part of that is, and we probably shouldn't say much more, but he has missed 2 years because of an elbow injury. And we just hope it's not related or not serious. As much rehab as Mason has been through, you certainly hope that it's not a re-injury of that.
Now it's 1-1 to Kendrick. Guy who was actually cut from his high school baseball team. Howie. Classic late bloomer.
Tobin had the Tommy John surgery, 2009.
Kendrick hits it to Elvis. Over to Ian for 1. On to Mitch for a double play, and the side's retired. Kirkman gets out of it, but Lots of damage done in that one. 4 runs on the board for the Angels in the inning. 8 in all, and it's 8-1 in the middle of the 6th. Rangers are hitting for Carol Limerick of Malakoff, Texas. If a Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, Carol Limerick wins $25,000. Michael Young will get the first chance to hit for Carol. Tobin lasted just a third of an inning. 3 runs on his ledger, 2 hits. 2 of the runs were earned, and he walked a man before having to leave with that pain in the right elbow. Keeping our fingers crossed for him. As Michael Young comes up. He was plunked last time up by Matt Palmer. Palmer, who's been sitting a long time and is about to throw his 74th pitch of the game.
Yeah, that was one jam that Palmer's been in. 4th inning, Michael led off with a hit by pitch. They had the bases loaded and 1 out. But Palmer got Torrealba, got Moreland, got out of the inning without giving up a run. That was the one inning where the Rangers really put something together.
Michael hits this one in the gap toward left center field, but look at the speed by Borges on defense. He chases that one down. And it's time for our Home Depot doing more on defense. And speaking of great speed and great defense, look at Adrian Beltre catching and then firing that ball with a bare hand. Doing more on defense is Adrian Beltre, who's coming to the plate now to hit. Last night's was his 5th home run of the year. Moves him into that first place tie. Several others. And he follows that pitch from Palmer straight back. Four home runs during a 9-game hitting streak for Adrian. And he can't extend it to 10, at least on that one. He's called out.
And Beltre, you know, is a fairly free swinger. Normally you don't expect him to take a close pitch like that. He obviously thought this pitch was outside. You can see it come back a little bit, though, and actually did come back and catch the corner. That's one of the strengths that Palmer has is the movement on his fastball. And that one started out a little outside, but he brought it back, and our tracker showed that it did catch the corner.
Same thing that happened to Nelly back in the second inning. That ball tails back in. Not that one, though. It's 1-1 to Nelly. He had a wicked single in the fourth. And now it's a ball and 2 strikes. Outside to make it 2-2. The Angels, the Rangers, and the A's are the top 3 pitching teams in the American League. Last night, the Rangers moved back in front of the Angels, and now Nelly hits this one toward left field. And he is out. 1, 2, 3 go the Rangers in the 6th inning. We're headed to the 7th. It's 8-1. By Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. And it's a beautiful night for baseball here, even if the baseball hasn't been that beautiful from a Ranger perspective. Here comes Bobby Abreu. Challenge for any pitcher, including the young Michael Kirkman. Abreu numerous times has led the league in pitches per plate appearance. Talked about his propensity for walking. He's already got 15 of those in the season. And there's a strike from Michael Kirkman to even things up at 1-1. Reached on a fielder's choice his first time up, but Abreu has grounded to the first baseman his other 2 trips. And there you see the walk leaders. He's leading the league with Kevin Youkilis right now.
Yeah, those sometimes you look at the leaders early in the season, you see some guys you don't normally expect. You look at that leaderboard, and pretty much every one of those guys, if you had to look throughout the league and pick 5 guys who would be in the top 10, those would probably be 5 of the guys you would pick right there. Derek Barton, a young first baseman for the A's, has a terrific eye at the plate.
This one's grounded towards Elvis. He backhands it. Throw to Mitch. Great stretch, and they got him.
I pulled my groin watching that.
No kidding.
Elvis didn't have time to really plant and throw. He had to he planted and throw, but he didn't have time to really take his time to get something on the ball. He knew with Abreu running from the left side, he had to get rid of it quickly. A nice stretch from Mitch at first base. Abreu gets out of the box quickly. He still runs pretty well. Elvis got plenty of arm and a little help from Mitch. They make a nice play.
And now it's Torrey Hunter. We'll take one more look at this.
Last night, Elvis went in the hole with Vernon Wells hitting and was able to plant, kind of take his time and throw to first base. That time he didn't have the luxury.
Torrey, of course, came up with the Twins. Made his major league debut way back in '97. Started playing regularly in Minnesota in '99. And he laces this one out into right field. His first hit of the ball game. And just his third in his last 19 at bats. Bring up Vernon Wells. This one is hit sharply down the right field line and into the corner. Rounding first and heading towards second as well. Stopping at third base is Hunter. And it's back-to-back hits by the heart of the order. And it'll bring up Callaspo.
Wells got on top of that high fastball. You can see by the Fox tracks the pitch is away and up. Not a strike, but a very nice job of hitting to be able to keep that ball fair and hit it that hard down the right field line on a pitch that wasn't really near the strike zone.
Callaspo 1 for 1 officially. A couple of walks and he scored 3 runs. And he takes a strike from Kirkman. Little inside to Alberto. Evens things up at 1-1. 4 RBIs on the night for the next batter. The on deck man is Trumbo. Career night for the rookie. He's got a single, a homer, and a double. That's a strike. To make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kirkman looks in for the signs. Callaspo fouls that one off. Alberto didn't strike out much. In fact, was the second hardest player to strike out in 2010. Only 13 strikeouts in 228 at bats last year. Fouls that one off. It has been a great night for a couple of Angels. Callaspo, as we mentioned, 3 runs after a single and a couple of walks, and Trumbo is 3 for 3 with the homer, the double, the single, 2 runs, 3 runs batted in. And this one's hit hard into center field. That'll get 1 run home and give the Angels a 9-1 lead as Torrey Hunter crosses the plate.
The Angels swinging the bats pretty well, especially in the 6th and 7th innings. Michael was able to get out of the 6th inning when Kendrick hit into a double play, but it was a shot that Elvis was able to field. It was right at him, but the ball hit really hard. They turned it into a double play. But Hunter and Wells have hit balls hard to right field. Now Callaspo hits a line shot up the middle.
And so there are runners at first and third. It's Callaspo at first and Wells over at third base. And the batter will be Trumbo again. Rangers haven't figured out a way to get him out yet tonight. There's a swing and a miss. Kirkman's ahead of him. Ironically, Trumbo was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts yesterday. And the 1-1 from Kirkman. In there for a strike.
Yes, he did.
Yep. He's out of there. Couldn't check his swing. And that's the second out of the inning.
C.J. Wilson got Trumbo last night on almost that same slider, down and in.
And here comes Hank Conger. Conger's got a walk and a fly out in 3 trips. Ball's outside. Big doings for a Rangers prospect. Martin Perez, 5 perfect innings for Frisco at Arkansas tonight. The game was suspended in the top of the 6th because of weather, with Frisco leading at 1-0. But Perez is one of the great young prospects in the organization. Perfect through 5 before that one got called. And our thoughts and prayers, speaking of minor league guys, are with Eric Hurley, who got hit above the temple last night. Big swing and a miss from Conger.
There's been some good reports from the minor leagues. Obviously, there's a lot of good young players. Neil Ramirez in his first AAA start last week pitched a really good game up from A-ball, one of the Rangers' top prospects. Due to get another start pretty soon in Oklahoma City, too. Perez has been the youngest player in every minor league he's played in. He's the youngest pitcher in the youngest player in the Texas League right now. He's put together a couple of really good starts.
Strike on the outside part of the plate to make it 3-2. Hisanori Takahashi warming in that Angels pen. Matt Palmer's gone the distance so far for the Angels. Conger fouls this one, out of play.
The Angels have really made Michael work. Right now he's pitched 1 inning. 1 1/3. 2/3 last inning, 2/3 this inning. He's thrown 43 pitches.
There you see the Vikings, or some such. I think they're trying to be Vikings. Just don't know why. This one is on the ground in front of David Murphy. 2 more runs coming home for the Angels. And Conger with a couple of RBI.
It was all Rangers last night, 7-1 behind CJ, and it's all Angels tonight behind Matt Palmer. It's 11-1 now. Conger's taken some healthy swings today, boy. He hasn't gotten cheated. First time up, he ripped one into right field, left-handed. I like those legends from Texas history.
Yeah. Davy Crockett, Sam Houston.
Bottom of the order's done the job. Trumbo's driven in 4, Conger 2, and Borges 1 now.
Yeah, Borges with a couple of singles. Back-to-back trips to the plate after striking out his first time up. And he hit this one high and deep left field, and it is in the seats.
I'll give you an idea why they like Borges.
No kidding.
You've seen his speed in the outfield. You've seen his speed when the ball got David. He went all the way around the bases. And now you see his power. Look at her. She's throwing it back. Oh, she didn't quite get it there. That guy better not keep it.
All right, he's going to throw it back.
And then you see the power. That ball went almost to the back of the seats in the lower level of left field bleachers. Talented young player.
There's the lady who threw it back. Good for her.
Yeah, pretty good arm, really.
Yeah. She almost got it back out onto the field. Here's the top of the order.
It's right down the middle of the plate right there. You got a good fastball to hit, and look how far it goes.
Here she comes.
She's got it. She got the ball in the first place.
Oh, I got to throw it back? Are you kidding me? Okay.
All right.
They didn't have to talk her into it long, did
Peer
they?
pressure. She's got a good arm.
She does. She almost got it over the wall.
She's going to be driving home tonight going, why did I throw that ball back?
Yeah.
But
it's probably her daughter
they'll
sitting
explain
next
it
to
to
her.
her.
Yeah, her daughter's sitting with her.
Proud of you, Mom.
Got to do it, Mom. 409 feet, the measurement on the home run. And now it's Torres' 5th trip to the plate. Batting in the 3rd straight inning. He homered in the 5th, walked in the 6th. And now he faces Kirkman again here in the 7th inning with 2 out. It's now 2-2 to him. And it is 13-1 in favor of the Angels. Wow. I think that hit our microphone dead on. Right over there by the Angels dugout. We've got that area mic'd up. That's the sounds of the game. There it is. Look at that. Think you can hurt that microphone? Not rain, nor foul balls, nor dark of night can hurt that microphone. And there you see Dave Bush out there in the Rangers bullpen. This one's hit straight up, high in the air. Calling for it is Torrey Alba. He makes the play, and the side is retired. Angels send 8 men to the plate, though, and score 5 more in the 7th. They lead it 13-1. Proud sponsor of youth baseball leagues in your community. Go to ChevyYouthBaseball.com for a chance at winning a home field makeover. Or you could make your Powerade bottle over into a telescope or a kaleidoscope, perhaps. Good crowd still here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. Rangers down by a dozen, though. And now facing Hisanori Takahashi. And there's a new shortstop out there, too, Brandon Wood.
And Takahashi's been in 8 games already. He's only pitched 5 2/3 innings. It's like one of those left-handed specialists. Have a chance to pitch more than just to a left-hand hitter or 2 this inning, though, it looks like. Rangers will send up 3 of the next 4 hitters are left-hand hitters. So if you're going to use a left-handed reliever like Takahashi, this is the time of the game where you bring him in.
Angels signed him in the offseason to a 2-year, $10 million contract. Signed him away from the Mets. And there's a strike. He played his Japanese career with the Yomiuri Giants. Spent 10 years with the Giants. And he's behind David. 2 balls and a strike.
A lot of Japanese pitchers have the herky-jerky type delivery that Takahashi has. They like to pause at the top of their windup.
Got a pretty good scowl working for him, too. There's the pause. David hits this one into center field for a base hit. Leadoff single by David Murphy. And we go to Jim Knox with a special guest.
All right, John, the progressive fan of the game. It has to be Nola from Waxahachie. You may recall last half inning, home run ball comes here, hits in the seat. Nola picks it up. Her daughter, Patty, tells her, hey, you know, when the opposing team hits the home run, you got to throw it back. Nola was stunned. She didn't want to throw it back, did throw it back, or almost got it over, right?
I threw it back, but I couldn't quite get it there.
Couldn't quite get it there. Well, the night is not all lost. Here's the Progressive Fan of the Night bag, hat, shirt, and we're going to get you a baseball somewhere around here. Congratulations and great going. Way to go.
She's so excited.
That's great.
That's classic. Oh, come on. Look at her face.
I think that, I think that was not great advice by the daughter. She could have kept that ball, put it on her mantle. And
yeah. I bet you Noxie will get her one.
Noxie's got to find her
Noxie
ball.
will find her one. She's like, I'd still take the ball over. Oh, no. That's a pretty good gift bag. There you go. A little computer. Looks like a computer pad there. She had to be the fan of the game. Another hard hit ball. Single by Torrealba has Murphy at second. And it'll bring up Mitch Moreland. Takahashi had a 10-6 record last year with the Mets and 8 saves with a .361 ERA. But he is not off to a great start against the lower half of the Rangers order here. There's a strike to Mitch. Takahashi earned his first victory as an Angel against the Indians last week, and his last 4 outings have been scoreless. Mitch hits that one hard but fouled on the right side. And into the seats. Still a near perfect 73 degrees here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington.
Well, the lady that threw the ball back, she won't have the ball, but someone's going to have the video of that she can go back and look at. And I think that'll be just as good as the ball.
Yeah, the look on her face. First the excitement, then the disappointment. It just could not have been.
They've got to be getting some messages now.
Oh, I'm sure.
They've been immortalized.
Yeah.
By the greatness of Jim Knox.
Yeah, that was a perfect choice for the Progressive fan of the game. And now the people who are texting me, you're on right now. High in the air from Mitch. Borges is there. Tagging, and now maybe caught in a rundown is David Murphy. No, he's in sliding.
I'm not sure what David was going to do there. He might have been just taking a few steps. I don't know if he was going to go to third, and then he saw the ball come in behind him, and it surprised him. But if he's going to go to third, I don't think the fact that the throw came in was going to stop him from going. It seems like, I think he was just taking a few steps to draw a throw, and then was surprised when the center fielder Borges threw behind him, and he had to keep going.
So he's in at third base. Over at first is Torrealba, and the hitter is Julio Bourbon. He hits it towards center field. Now David is tagging. Borges throws it to the infield, and it's cut off. And David Murphy scores on the sac fly by Julio Bourbon. And that'll make it 13-2. Any run is cause for excitement. And now it's the top of the order and Ian Kinsler. Norveed still over there at first base. Ian drove in the only other run of the Rangers game with an RBI single back in the third. And the chant for "Let's Go Ian" goes up.
Well, you like the enthusiasm in the 13-2 game late in the game.
There's a strike to Ian. Evens things up at 1-1. And Ian hits this one hard into left field. That's down for a hit.
Well, Ian's starting to get his stroke back. Struggled a little bit on the road trip, but had a big day yesterday. Got an RBI hit in the third and another base hit here in the seventh.
It's good to see. Rangers just love hitting here at home. Elvis with a big cut and a miss. Prior to tonight, the Rangers had only allowed 3 home runs in 7 home games by the opposition here. The Angels have hit 3 tonight, so they've matched the output of everybody else who's come through here so far on the season. And Elvis is behind 0-2. That one's in the dirt. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to the Rangers' second place hitter, Takahashi, on the mound. He's the 3rd Japanese player in Angels history. And he got him swinging. Down goes Elvis and down goes the side. Rangers get a run. And it's 13-2 headed to the 8th. And there's a strike to Howie Kendrick. They've got a no decision in that game against Detroit. And there's Blanco over there at third base.
Yeah, I'm sure Dave was just happy to get on the mound against the Tigers. He threw 3 shutout innings, had to throw a lot of pitches, over 70 pitches, so didn't have quite the command of his fastball that he'd like, but I think it's good for him to get back out there tonight, continue to work on his command, because he's a guy that can help the Rangers throughout the course of the season. Got good off-speed pitches. He's been in a starting rotation for Milwaukee for the last 5 years. Before that, he was with Toronto. He's got a lot of innings, a lot of starts under his belt, but he's comfortable pitching in relief. And you have to have that guy that can come in and give you innings, and certainly Dave is one of those guys.
And now Bush faces Bobby Abreu. It's a ball and no strikes. Talked to Dave after that outing. He said, I just hope it's not 2 weeks between my next two. And clearly it's not. Less than a week since he was last on the mound. He was basically pleased with the outing, as you would expect. Didn't allow any runs after all. 3 hits and 3 walks. 2-0. Reggie Willits in the on-deck circle. There's a strike from Bush. The take is on, and it's 3 balls and a strike. And he walked him. Abreu is on his 16th walk of the season. And we check in with Emily Jones.
Guys, a quick Tommy Hunter injury update. He did throw a bullpen today. 38 pitches, said he felt great. Didn't want to put a timeline on anything, but he did say he hoped to be back in game action, hopefully on a rehab assignment in the next couple of weeks. Of course, that all depends on what happens between now and then. And he actually did a heel kick in the clubhouse, which was a bit frightening to see, but he did get some nice vertical space between he and the ground. I was quite impressed. So things seem to be going well for Tommy Hunter.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. I saw him actually run back toward the shower room, and he jumped up to touch the archway, and I thought, don't do that when you got a bad groin. But Tommy said he felt absolutely no pain in that 38 pitch performance, grounded toward short, or to short second. And Ian makes the play. Wash didn't even want to consider the decision that he'll have to make. We talked about the decision Mike Social will have to make when Ibar comes back, but if and when Tommy Hunter and Brandon Webb are healthy, there's going to be more pitchers than there are spots in the rotation. And while that's a good problem to have, it's not a good problem if you're one of the pitchers on the outs.
Now, those things tend to take care of themselves. You hope it's not by injury, but a lot of times it is, and that's why you need depth. But if there's too many good pitchers, Wash will work with that problem. He'll figure out how to use them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is a good problem from a Wash perspective or a John Daniels perspective.
And the part of the Ranger game that's in flux right now is the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Wash is trying to identify roles for the bullpen guys, when he's going to use them all. And as time goes on, you hope that that'll sort itself out. And sometimes, the press has a job to do, and they have a meeting with Wash every day, and all the writers and media people ask him the questions they feel they need to ask him. And Wash does a great job of trying to answer the questions, but sometimes the answer to the question is, I don't know. I'll give you an answer in 10 days or 2 weeks when those situations develop. But it's tough to have an answer and a contingency plan for everything right now.
Yeah, in fact, when he was pressed on the issue of Webb and or Hunter coming back, he said, I don't know. Neither one of them are healthy right now, so I don't know what I'll do when they are.
Yeah, and the reason he really doesn't know is, let's say both of those guys are healthy, they're ready to come back. What are you going to do? Well, I don't know how the rest of my staff is going to be pitching. What are the openings? Are all the starters pitching great? Are all the guys in the bullpen healthy? Are they all having a defined role and pitching well? Then I might have a problem, but generally those things take care of themselves, and there might be someone struggling, there might be someone that's injured, and in which case they slide right in.
Another run coming home for the Angels on a solid single by Vernon Wells. Back-to-back hits from the Arlington native. And now we go to Jim Knox.
All right, John, we finally came up with a baseball, real live Major League Baseball. This is from the good guys, the Texas Rangers. Here it is, Nola. For throwing back the Angels home run ball. There you go. The real live Major League Baseball for you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy. There you go. We knew we'd track one down. Thank you very much. Throw it now. No, I'm kidding.
No.
There's the same look.
Just kidding. Keep
There's the
that
same
one.
look. That was cruel. Noxie, that was cruel.
That was funny, Noxie. she thought that was another part of the bit. She's like, I didn't know about the other one.
She should have thrown it at Noxie.
She absolutely
bounced it right off his head.
Should have hit him right in the mug with it.
The old knockdown pitch.
That was funny. 14-2. There's Abreu came around to score. An RBI single by Vernon Wells.
Everybody has scored at least once for the Angels except Howie Kendrick, who's 0 for 5 on the night. Abreu was 0 for 4 before he walked.
And this is Callaspo.
Trumbo, Conger, and Borges, the last three guys in the lineup, have 9 RBIs.
And Callaspo's got 3 runs scored. Fouls this one back and out of play. Four runs scored for Callaspo.
Yeah, he's been on base every time. 2 walks, 2 singles. And let's see, Trumbo's knocked him in most of the time.
And now it's Callaspo in the air. Back to make the play is Ian Kinsler. He ranges way out there to get that one. And the side's retired, but they get another one. And it's 14-2. Angels with the lead. 14-2. It's a lead of a dozen again for the Angels, and the Texas Rangers Concert Series on the North Lawn gets underway this Saturday. Join us after the Rangers host the Royals to a performance by KC and the Sunshine Band. Great seats available now at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Some more defensive changes for the Angels. Reggie Willits stays in the game. He's out in right field, and Bobby Wilson is the new catcher, replacing Hank Conger.
Yeah, the Angels are one of the few teams that keep 3 catchers. Saw Conger tonight, Bobby Wilson. We also have Jeff Mathis. So out of their 4 extra men, 2 of them are catchers.
And that's a lineup configuration that the Rangers were considering when they still had Matt Trainer, but then they decided to keep that extra pitcher. And here's Blanco. Nelly Cruz waiting on deck. And the lefty Takahashi still out there working. There's a strike to Andres. Makes it 2 balls and a strike. And this one is lined right to the shortstop. Brandon Wood over there now. And here comes Nelly. Nelly's 1 for 3 with a solid single in the 4th inning. Went right back up the middle. Matt Palmer had a good night tonight for the Angels against the Rangers. Rangers are in the midst of their longest home win streak since May of 2010. That was also a 7-gamer, just like this one is. Last time they won 8 in a row at home was May of 2009. Cut and a miss by Nelly there. Angels have lost 8 of the last 11 games here, but with that 12-run lead, looks like they'll see that futility come to a bit of an end. And now the 3-1. In there for a strike, and it's full to Nelson Cruz. That one's chopped fouled on the third base line. 22,450 on hand tonight. And so that makes it 6 times in 8 games that the Rangers have drawn 30,000 or more. Might have gotten a bigger crowd than that if not for the lengthy rain shower that happened just about an hour before game time.
Yeah, the rain stopped, turned into a nice night.
Oh, it's a beautiful night out here. He pops this one up. First baseman is Trumbo. He's in fair ground, and he makes the play.
This is a long outing for Takahashi. This is his 9th appearance coming into the game. He's been in 8 games and only thrown 5 2/3. You have to assume being a left-hand pitcher, most of those were to face left-hand hitters. Now he's getting an opportunity to pitch at least 2 innings and maybe more. There's no one right now warming up in the Angel bullpen.
And here's David. Singleton scored a run in the 7th. Came home on a... Look at these guys. They are still out there in those expensive costumes. David skies this one foul. Out of play. About the 5th row of the seats. Will scramble for it. And that's a couple of excited guys to get a foul ball. So it's no balls and 2 strikes to David Murphy. Michael Young still over there on first base after the leadoff single here in the 8th. And that's outside. Let's all make cardboard shields and swords.
Hey, it worked.
And go to the ball game.
It worked.
It sure did. They got on TV, didn't they?
They're on leave for medieval times.
I guess that's it. After the game, we shall joust. And David hits this one towards second. Kendrick is up with it, and the side's retired. We are headed to the 9th inning. Rangers trail it 14-2. Dave Bush back out on the mound for the Rangers as we start the 9th inning, and Mark Trumbo steps in. Single, homer, double, and then finally a strikeout in the 7th. And Bush starts him off with a strike here in the 9th. Grounded to Elvis, backhand. Over to Mitch, and there's one away. Here comes Bobby Wilson. He replaced Hank Conger. Conger was 2 for 3 with a walk. This is just Bobby's 3rd game of the year. Hard for the 3rd catcher to find much playing time. That one is line foul. Coming into the game, Mathis had 8 starts at catcher. Conger had 7. Which left only 1 for Wilson. There's a strike on the outside part of the plate. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Wilson. He appealed to first. He did not go around. So it'll even things up at 2-2. Peter Borges is on deck. And the 2-2's on the way. Swing and a miss.
Got him on a high slider. Not necessarily exactly where Matt designed that pitch to go, but the result was very effective. He trying to actually keep it down and away. But where it ended up turned out to be a good location anyway.
And so it's 2 up and 2 down for Bush.
Good little tune-up for Matt to stay sharp. He'll end up with around 30 pitches tonight.
And that one is grounded fair down the right field line. Borges is flying around first and headed toward second. And he's putting on the brakes at second base.
Yeah, if it was a close game and less than 2 outs and he needed to get to third, he probably would have gone for it. Well, he's turned the night into a great night. He struck out the first time up. Since then, he's got 2 singles, a home run, and a double.
Fourth double of the year for Borges. And now it's Wood. And he hits it high in the air. Andres Blanco drops the ball. And
Wow.
Borges scores.
Wow. One of the more unlikely guys to drop a routine pop-up like that. Now, you see pop-ups dropped. Sometimes they get in the sun. Sometimes there's a little bit of wind. But I bet you in his whole career he's never dropped a ball like that before.
Mm. And it makes it 15-2.
But I guess if you're going to drop one, this is the kind of game to drop
Sure.
one in, not when the game's tied or when it really matters. There's really no time that you want to drop a ball.
No.
But I guess if you have to pick one, I'd pick that.
Pretty lonely feeling out there when you do.
Yep. Then Andres is a very steady defensive player, obviously. That's why he's here.
15 runs on 15 hits now for the Angels. Last night the Rangers matched their season high by allowing 10 hits. So
Kendrick's got a chance to make the last out here in the 9th inning. And on a night where there's been 15 hits and 15 runs, he's got a chance to go 0 for 6.
Wow.
And he came into the game hitting 300, 318 actually.
Yeah. He'd been very hot. And was leading the American League in total bases. Swing and a miss, and he does go 0 for 6 on the night. Side is retired. Here comes the bottom of the ninth. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout days. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. New pitcher in the ninth inning is Francisco Rodriguez.
Not the same Francisco Rodriguez
No.
they used to have. K-Rod
Not
is
K-Rod.
now trying to save games for the Mets.
Yeah.
Not doing quite as well as he did with the Angels.
Not an easy thing to do these days.
Ran into some personal problems that hasn't helped the cause too much.
Rangers, meantime, 4 errors in the game. It's the most by Texas since the 29th of July back in 08. They had 5 that day against Seattle. And there's a strike to Yorvit Torrealba. One and one now to Yorvit. Hit a single his last time up in the 7th. Grounded foul to make it 1 and 2. Game 3 of the 3-game set is tomorrow right here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. On the air at 7:05. Rangers Live will come your way at 6:30. Torrealba turns on this one. High and deep to left field. Off the foul pole. A home run for Yorvit Torrealba. And the Rangers are back to within a dozen.
The pitch was up and in off the plate. He just barely was able to keep it fair. He's hoping and hoping. Sees it hit the foul pole.
We've seen so many of those go the other way for the Rangers in the last few games. It's almost a surprise when it goes the good way. Hit the pole. And here comes Mitch. Now it's 3-0. The home run went 370 feet that Jorvi Torrealba just hit. His second of the season. And there's a strike with the take on to Mitch Moreland. Rangers came into the game with a fielding percentage of .986. That had him third in the league as Moreland takes the walk. And we say hi to Dana Larson over on the set of Rangers Live.
And hi to you, John and Tom. It has been a tough night for the Rangers, but coming up on the postgame show, we'll get you set for tomorrow's finale. What a pitching matchup. Jared Weaver, Matt Harrison, a combined 7-0 to start the season. Also, the Dallas Cowboys schedule was released today for next year. That is, if they have a next year. We will tell you about that. And also a Mavs-Blazers Game 2 update coming up. So please join me, Mark McLemore, and Emily Jones right after the game for the postgame show. We'll have a lot of fun with all these very loyal Rangers fans still hanging here with us, John.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Dana, very much. Rangers Live right after the game. Grounded to first base now by Bourbon, and they get one. Trumbo was thinking about the attempt at the double play, but
yeah, it was a good play by Trumbo. It doesn't really matter when you're ahead by 12 runs, but obviously you want to make sure you get one out. Lead runner doesn't make much difference. When he went to throw, I think all he saw was Moreland's back. Realized, oh, can't make that throw. There's no one to throw it to. Can't get it by the big guy. And he still turned around and made the play.
So it's the first out of the inning. Brings up the top of the order and Ian Kinsler. And there's a strike from Rodriguez. What's left of this crowd of 22,450 chanting for Ian. That one's a little low for a ball. They'll make it 1-1. Ian's got a couple of singles on the night and 4 trips to the plate. And an RBI in the third. And a foul ball there down the third base line. That'll even things up at 2-2. Elvis Andrus waits on deck. Mitch Moreland's at second base. Ian fouls this one off.
You know, the crowd that's left at the ball game right now, this is what the crowds used to look like in the first inning of games back in the early 70s.
Wow.
We had plenty of games with 3,000 or 4,000 people. If we drew 5 digits, if we drew over 10,000 people back in, say, 1972, 1973, it was a big crowd.
And you could, I mean, you felt good about that as a player in those days, didn't you? Yeah. There's the guy that brought him here, Tom Vandergriff.
Took a while for baseball to catch on, but obviously we wouldn't have had a chance without Tom Vandergriff.
It really has caught on here in North Texas, too. Baseball fever alive and well as Ian goes down on strikes. And the Rangers are down to their last gas. Elvis Andrus.
There used to be, in the old days, there used to be a dentist that sat right behind home plate, and his thing was to get on the players. And he got on Mike Hargrove one day. Mike Hargrove found out who he was and drove to his place of business and went in to confront him. but he wasn't there that day.
Oh, too bad.
Picked his off day. And then I think Mike came to his senses, and people said, hey, look, that's probably not in your best interest. And Mike had a temper, boy. And he would fight at the drop of a hat. If that dentist said the wrong thing in his dentist's office, could have been an ugly sight.
That would not have been good. What he should have done, though, is gone to the dentist's office and then just heckled him while he's trying to do filling. That's a terrible filling. What are you doing?
Idea. That's a bad idea.
True.
You see that Steve Martin movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one was that called?
Oh, yeah.
Feed me, Seymour.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting on the dentist is a bad idea while you're sitting in the chair.
Elvis hits it into right center, left center field, and around to score is Mitch Moreland.
Little House of Horrors.
That's Little Shop of Horrors?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Speaking of horrors, this game's almost over.
Yeah.
That was a hard hit ball by Elvis right there. It's kind of salvaging the night. Come into the at-bat at 0 for 4. With a fastball right down the middle. Put a great swing on it. Drilled it into the gap.
Here comes Michael Young. He had a single in the 8th. Got stranded there. And now he comes up in the 9th inning. Strike one to him from Rodriguez. Rangers have pushed a couple across here in the 9th inning. Torrealba led it off with a home run. Mitch Moreland scored on the double by Elvis. And now it's 15-4. Rangers down to their last strike here as Michael Young stands in against Francisco Rodriguez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And it's outside for a ball to even it up at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit to second. Kendrick is still there, and he makes the play to Trumbo. And the side is retired. Rangers lose to the Angels tonight, and now we'll try to win the series with a victory over LA tomorrow in the 3rd and final game. Took us 3 hours and 11 minutes to play it. And Rangers Live is headed your way next. The final here tonight, 15-4. Angels beat the Rangers.